So, you've probably heard about Pi Network, maybe a friend sent you an invite. The pitch is super simple. You download an app on your phone, press a button once a day and you start mining a new cryptocurrency called Pi. It doesn't drain your battery or use a ton of data, which sounds great. The idea is to get millions of people on board before the coin even has a real-world value, creating a huge, decentralized network from the ground up. Early adopters of big tech things like Bitcoin often became very wealthy. Pi Network kind of dangles that same carrot. For years now, millions of people have been tapping that button. The problem? Those coins aren't really usable yet in the way you'd expect. Alright, so let's break this down. Pi Network is facing three fundamental problems that are holding it back from being a legitimate, functioning cryptocurrency. Think of these as the main bosses at the end of a video game level. The first major hurdle is the lack of useful applications, or what the crypto world calls dApps. A cryptocurrency is only as valuable as what you can do with it. If there's nowhere to spend your coins, or use them in an interesting way, they're just numbers on a screen. The second problem is user access to their own coins. The process of actually getting your mined Pi into a wallet you can control is slow, confusing for many, and not even available to everyone yet. This creates a massive bottleneck. The third and probably most critical hurdle is the lack of genuine organic demand. Demand is what gives any currency, digital or otherwise, its value. With Pi, the demand right now is almost entirely speculative. A crypto network without apps is like a smartphone without an app store. The Pi core team has held hackathons and encouraged developers to build on the platform. But so far, the results have been underwhelming. The dApps that do exist are often very basic, clunky, or feel more like tech demos. Think about the apps you use every day: Instagram for photos, Spotify for music, Google Maps for navigation. They are polished, reliable, and solve a real need. Okay, so let's say you've been a loyal pioneer. You've been tapping the button every day for years and you've got a nice balance of 5,000 Pi in your app. To get them for real, you have to go through a multi-step process that can be a real headache. But the biggest step, and the one where most people get stuck, is KYC, or Know Your Customer. Some users have been waiting for months, or even years, for their application to be approved, with little to no communication. This brings us to the final and perhaps most fundamental hurdle: demand. The question for Pi is, who wants to buy Pi, and why? Right now, the answer is uncomfortably vague. What's more likely to happen is that a huge number of these users will try to sell their free coins as soon as they can, all at the same time. When there's a massive supply and very little buying demand, the price of an asset crashes. It's basic economics. To really understand Pi's struggles, it helps to compare it to cryptocurrencies that have actually made it. Let's look at the two biggest players, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin launched in 2009 with a clear, focused purpose: to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It didn't have a mobile app with a friendly interface. It was complex. Then came Ethereum, which took the concept a step further. It introduced the idea of smart contracts, which are basically self-executing programs that run on the blockchain. It became the foundation for the dApp ecosystem we know today, including DeFi, NFTs, and thousands of other projects. So, what actually gives a cryptocurrency real-world value? At the end of the day, value comes from utility. It's that simple. Think of a stable coin like USDC. Its utility is straightforward. It's a digital dollar. If you want to send $1,000 from the US to a friend in Japan, you can do it in minutes for a tiny fee, instead of waiting days and paying hefty bank charges. Ethereum's token, ETH, is like the fuel for a giant global computer. The demand for ETH is directly tied to the activity on its network. There's one area where Pi Network has been undeniably successful: community building. With a user base reported to be over 55 million, it has achieved a scale that most other crypto projects can only dream of. This community is global, diverse, and for the most part highly engaged. The referral system is a classic growth hacking technique that has worked wonders. It creates a viral loop that has propelled Pi's user numbers into the stratosphere. However, this massive community can also be a double-edged sword. The overwhelming focus within the Pi community is on the future price of the coin. Chats and forums are dominated by speculation. If the price doesn't immediately meet the anticipated expectations of the community, there could be widespread disillusionment and anger. Therefore, Pi's greatest strength is also its greatest vulnerability. So, After breaking it all down, what's the verdict? Pi Network is at a critical crossroads. To move from a speculative social experiment to a legitimate cryptocurrency, Pi needs a clear and decisive strategy. First and foremost, Pi needs to solve the DApp problem. Second, they have to fix the access problem. Finally, all of this must lead to the creation of real, organic demand. The ultimate success for Pi won't be a high price on an exchange on day one. It will be a thriving ecosystem where people are using Pi every day to buy goods, play games, and interact with services, creating a sustainable demand that gives the coin long-term stable value. It's a long road, but it's the only one that leads to success. For now, Pi Network remains a fascinating experiment in community building, but until it solves these fundamental problems, it will struggle to become the revolutionary cryptocurrency it promises to be. Section 1, a trademark, for a crypto, you've got to be kidding me. Look, let's be honest. The world of cryptocurrency often feels like it was designed by a committee of caffeine-addicted teenagers in their parents' basements. It's a chaotic digital bazaar of dog-themed coins, anonymous founders, and promises of getting rich so fast you'll get financial whiplash. So, when you hear that one of these projects, the ever-mysterious Pi Network, has gone and done something as painfully corporate and buttoned up as securing a United States trademark, you might be tempted to check if you've fallen into an alternate dimension. It's true. The project that lets you mine crypto on your phone, a concept that makes hardcore crypto bros' eyes twitch, has now waded through the bureaucratic swamp of the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Section 2, trademarks, the boring legal thing that suddenly matters. So, what exactly is a trademark? In the simplest terms, it's a brand's identity. It's the golden arches of McDonald's, the Nike swoosh, the apple with a bite taken out of it. It's a legally protected symbol, name, or slogan that tells you, the consumer, exactly who you're dealing with. It prevents some other company from opening a burger joint called McDowell's with golden arcs. Now let's apply this to cryptocurrency. For years, the crypto space has been the Wild West of branding. Projects would pop up with names that sounded suspiciously similar to other, more successful projects. Logos were often just slightly altered versions of existing ones. Section 3. The long, winding, and frankly bizarre road to trademark town. Getting a United States trademark isn't like ordering a pizza. You don't just fill out a form online and get it delivered in 30 minutes. It is a grueling, painstaking, and often painfully slow legal marathon. Section 4. Pi Network's big, I'm a real boy, moment. For years, Pi Network has occupied a strange space in the crypto universe. It boasts a user base that numbers in the tens of millions, a figure that would make most other projects green with envy. This United States trademark changes that narrative completely. It is a powerful, government-issued piece of evidence that Pi Network is a legitimate corporate entity with protectable intellectual property. For the millions of pioneers who have been patiently mining, this is the moment they can point to and say, "See, I told you it was real." With a registered trademark, Pi Network now has the legal muscle to shut down these fraudulent copycats. They can issue cease and desist letters and pursue legal action against anyone infringing on their brand. In the hyper-competitive arena of cryptocurrency, projects are constantly fighting for attention, users, and capital. It is in many ways a digital version of the Hunger Games. Securing a US trademark is kind of like getting a powerful sponsor to drop a care package into the arena. It provides a significant competitive advantage. Trust is the most valuable commodity in the cryptocurrency world, and it's also the most scarce. A US trademark is one of the most powerful signals a project can send. However, when a massive global project like Pi Network, with users in nearly every country, takes a formal step to comply with the stringent legal standards of the United States, it sends a powerful message across the globe. Pi Network's successful US trademark is more than just a win for one company. It's a signpost for the future of the entire cryptocurrency industry. It signals a fundamental shift in thinking, away from the old cypherpunk ideal of total anonymity and resistance to systems, and towards a more mature, pragmatic approach. In conclusion, Pi Network's US trademark is a watershed moment. By securing its name, Pi Network has not only protected its own future but has also helped to write a more legitimate and ultimately more promising next chapter for everyone.